So the first thing I should probably talk about is the pots that I'm using. They're just some cheap, economical plastic pots that I got. But the thing is, they have drainage. I would highly recommend never using a pot that doesn't have drainage, where the pot can actually drain. So I can check in here, see if there's water in there or not. Once in a while, though, I do come into a situation where I end up using a pot that doesn't have any drainage. But you can always drill holes, get a tray for underneath, or if it's outside, just let it drain right onto the ground. But let's say I was going to use this in the house for some reason, and I wasn't going to put a tray under it. I could just put some gravel in there, thin layer of gravel, couple inches or whatever, and then set a pot that does have the drainage holes. Set that right in there, and you know, if I ever overwater it, I could pull it out and drain the water if I needed to. That's one solution. But really, stay away from pots that don't have any drainage. If you just put gravel in there and put a plant in there and you think that's the drainage, the water's just going to lay at the bottom. You'll get root rot. Now, with the soil that I'll be putting in, I have different layers. This right here is basically what I would consider my drainage layer. It's close to equal parts of Miracle-Gro potting soil, which is mostly peat moss. It's got some slow release fertilizers and vermiculite and perlite in it. I mix in with that some of this long fibered moss. It also helps with soil retention, or not soil, but moisture retention. Helps hold in the moisture. And then I also add in an equal part of perlite to help with the drainage. And on top of that, lastly, I put in some organic potting mix. This just, it takes a long time to break down, and it's slowly adding fresh organics into the soil. So I won't be repotting these for quite a while. So I just add enough soil into the bottom there, this drainage layer mixture I got. So when I set the pot in, it's kind of flush with the top, a little lower than flush. And this is Monstera, so they actually don't mind being root bound like this, but I will see if I can't loosen it up a little. Just to stimulate some new growth. Okay. This mixture here, the drainage mixture, it's got a lot of extra perlite. I'm going to be mixing up something different, just slightly different. The same stuff. I'm just going to not put the extra perlite in it for the top. So I'm just going to set this off to the side for now. These aerial roots, if you don't like them, you can cut them off, or if you do, leave them there. You can even stick them into the soil. The aerial roots that I was talking about before, how they go back into the soil. So when you're transplanting, if you got a bunch of aerial roots that are hanging out, you can embed them right in the soil. They'll actually root and lock the plant in place, just like when you grow them on a moss pole, like that one's on a pole already. It will actually grow some root right into the pole, as long as you got some moss and it's moist and stuff, and it will help to hold it in place. And if you don't have an actual moss pole, and you're just using some stakes or some poles, these will wrap right around it too, and like just lock it into place. This is just Miracle-Gro potting soil with some of that orchid potting mix and just a little bit of that long fibered moss. It's mostly Miracle-Gro potting mix, which means it's mostly peat moss. Just adding this to it. This is what I'm just going to put right over the top. It's like a top dressing. It'll look better, and the nutrients in it are more specialized towards these types of plants, so when you water, those nutrients will work their way down through the pot. I'm packing it down. Not real hard, but you know, I want to pack it in there. There's no air pockets once I start watering. And I want it to be nice and firm for the plant so it don't shift inside. And either later tonight or tomorrow, I'm going to be putting some stakes and holes in some of these plants. It's supposed to be warm the next few nights, so I'm going to leave these out here. I'm just going to give them a little bit of water. I'm going to be putting some of those moss poles and some other poles in these guys, and then moving them back in the house for a while, because I do believe we'll be getting another frost. And even if we don't get a frost, we'll have some nights down in the low 40s still, so they'll be going in the house for a little while. Then give them a little bit of water. And then maybe tomorrow or the next day I'll come out here and put those moss poles on them. And I got some other poles too. I'll fix them up a little bit. And so for right now, I got them underneath this roof too, because they've been in the house and I don't want them in direct sunlight. Here's the pot I'm using. I'm using it. It has great drainage. Yeah, there's a storm coming. Let me see. Woo. Boy. Here we go.